Hello and welcome to the next edition of H. Paul Models. This episode I'm going to be doing a P40 Warhawk. This is an Aldi Airfix special. You can tell that because there's no Airfix Club token on it. Anyway, what I'm going to try and do with this is I've seen techniques with mottling, weathering, panel lining, all this sort of stuff. So I'm going to practice on this build to see how easy it is, how hard it is, if I can do it or not, and all that other jazz. So let's crack on. I have cheated a little bit in this build in the fact that I was building something else. I had some 78 left over, so I did some cockpit green, so the internal parts are already painted. Yeah, whatever. I cheated. So anyway, first part of the instructions is to glue the fuselage halves together. So, do my usual with the Revel. Let's fill the pots, just a little bit on each one. And then bring the halves together as such. Oh crikey. I've not even got the mottling yet and it's a mess. That's it. Now bring those two halves together and then using my clamps, my big clamps, do it around that way, just clamp that together. Just to let the pot seal, and then I can tidy up the lines and finish it off with some Tamiya. That's not going to work that way. We'll just leave that as is, I think, and just let that go off. Before I fit the floor of the cockpit, I'm going to put this model onto a stand in flight. So I'm going to drill 2 holes in the bottom with my spinny drill. He says it's just oh dear. Oh crikey. That's really funny. I can't stop laughing. Oh, I've just knocked the cockpit floor on the floor now. Oh idiot. Sorry. Right, let's do the other hole. Stop it. Oh dear. There we go, that's through. Oh dear, I need to calm down a bit. Anyway, after that calamity, let's get the cockpit floor in. Oh dear, sometimes I do make myself laugh, probably a bit too much. There we go. Right, now that's all done. Cockpit parts. Cockpit parts. Okay, so I've done the clocks and the seat belts and everything else I want to do. So I'm going to drop in the clocks first. Get that in now. Oh crikey, get in there. For some reason of late I seem to have lost my mojo. I'll get it back, I know I will. There we go, get in there. It just doesn't want to go in there. Control column. I've just gone for basic colours on this in the cockpit because this build isn't really about the cockpit, it's about the exterior paintwork and mottling that I want to try first, and then develop those skills to be used inside cockpit on a smaller scale. So just trying to keep things on a low key at the moment and not overdo it, or not try to overdo it and overcomplicate things, and then That's too wide. I didn't dry fit this, as you can probably see. I mean, after the last two kits that had no flash at all, the Liberator and the trucks, I kind of got used to being spoilt a little bit. Let's just sit him up right like that. There we go. Wing tops next. So as always, a little bit in there, a little bit in there, a little bit on the end. And I'll fit these on and then I'll clamp them. Let's put that in there like that. And my wing shaped clamps that I like so much. Clamp that on. And clamp that on. And then I'll go around the edges as I usually do with a bit of Tamiya. So I'll do the other one. Oh, crikey. And then I'll let that settle before I fix the fuselage. So putting the fuselage on. A couple of dabs there because I'm sure it hits on there somewhere. A little tiny bit there, a little tiny bit there, a bit there and a bit there. And that should do it. I already know from dry fitting this that there's gaps, so I'm going to have to fill it, which isn't a massive problem, to be fair. It's not the first time I've done that, and it probably won't be the last. So I'm going to get that on and get it centred as best as I can. That's it. Give it a push to get it home. I don't think that's gone in there quite right. Get the fat ended pliers out. They might have a name, I don't know. Oh yes, Ian, thank you. Reverse action tweezers. Or rat, as I call them now. I like that name, rat. Right, I'll let that cure and then I'll put some filler down, tidy that up, and then we'll carry on with the rest of the build. Done some work off camera. I've finished off the underside. I filled up the hole, so I've changed my mind on this. I'm going to have it wheels down in my cabinet because yeah, it'll be my first ever Mottling model, so I've got to have a go at it and keep it. So yeah, tailplane next. So using my old friend the Humbrol glue, because this is always good for doing this, he says, as he gets it everywhere. I just find this stuff really gunky and helps to hold the piece in place. Let's get that in now. Oh, it's a tight fit. There we go, that's in. Cotton bud to remove the excess. Cool. And then make sure it's square with the wing before I do its opposite. Not so much this time. And then put that one in. Oh dear, they're tighter than I remember the last one I built. That's it, that's in. Clean off the excess again. And make sure they're both square. And using the trick I've done before with the instruction sheet, just use the right angle in instructions just to make sure that is as square as, and that is, yep, spot on. Right, just cap that, get the rudder next, take that off, then just tidy the parts up. Bit of scalpelage. And again, using some of the Breville glue, I find it grips it really well. That's it, it's gone round, excellent. And then just put the rudder on. If it'll go on, there it goes. So when it grips it instantly, that's what I like about this glue. Yeah, it's not as good as the Humbrol or the Reville or the Tamiya, because it is a bit gunky, but you can use it to put things on really quickly. That's it, that's lovely. So I'm going to let that go off. So what I'll do is I'll find a suitable pot just to put that on and let it dry. I've seen on so many other channels, but I'll show you anyway. How I mask the canopy is I put tape over it on a long edge. I get the cocktail stick and just rub it into the canopy edges like that to define where the perspex would be and where the metal frame would be. Take a brand new scalpel blade and just cut along where the metal work would run, just ever so gently, minding your fingers, and that will peel away. Now I'll keep the little bits just in case I need to do some patches later. So again, just cut along the panel line like that, and then like that. Just ever so carefully cutting along, not too hard, you don't want to score the plastic underneath, and then hopefully that will come away like that and reveal just the panel lines that you want to paint later on in the build. There we go, like that. So I'll do the rest and then we'll fix the canopy in place. You remember I said I'd keep the offcuts? Well, there's a bit there I didn't cut quite straight, so getting one of the small tiny pieces that I took off, I'm going to stick that in there and use the straight edge of the piece that I've cut off to repair that, or put it right. So I'll just put it into place, up tight against the framework, and that's why I keep these little bits. Fix the canopy, I just use a little tiny bit of Tamiya along the runners there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it wicks straight across and that'll hold it nicely in place. Just change it round and do that again, just in there. I've got a little bit of tape stuck on that, so I'm going to take that off now. A little bit of tape there. I'll get that off and then we'll carry on. So I forgot to mention, and do, under these glass pieces here, always make sure you paint them first before you fit the glassware. Because I nearly did forget to paint them. So I'm just going to drop them in now. I should have fitted these before the canopy, but ho hum, it'll go in, a little bit of fettling, it'll be fine. Come on, in you go. Oh, he says. They will go in. It's just me being a bit of a thickie. Just seal the deal around the edge there, little tiny bit, and just let it wick down the glassware or clear part. Right, the P40 is now ready for painting. You may notice I've only got the nose stuck on with blue tack. That's because I want to put the propeller in after I've painted it. The reason being is that I can't really fix the propeller on and then use the airbrush, and it's just too much masking and hassle. So yeah, going to give it a coat of primer, and then we can start painting and trying some mottling out. For this build I'm going to use the paints that came with the kit. So this is the old style pot that Humbrol used to supply with kits, and it's much better condition than the ones where the lids come right off. So I'll give that a stir, and I reckon that's excellent to put straight in the old airbrush. That looks really good. I can see it on the camera. That looks really good. So yeah, I'm going to put that straight into the airbrush. I think that's going to be alright. Right, remember this paint straight from the pot. I've done nothing with it. So let's see. Yes. Right, let's get painting. Okay, for the mottling, I've got this slightly darker blue. It's number 25 blue matte. So I'm going to try mottling with my cheap old £12 airbrush. This airbrush has got much better control than the £50 one from whichever make it was, I forget now. But yeah, in comparison, it's just streets ahead with its control. So I mixed up a bit of darker blue because I figured it's quite a light blue, so maybe a darker blue will be better. And then we shall try some mottling with this. So I'm setting up the brush to give me a really fine stream like that. And I'm going to get the model and I'm going to try and do panels. Just right, so that's dried. So I've gone back to the 157, I've thinned it down a bit, and now we'll give that a go. Well, that coat is dried, and I don't know if you can see it under the light, but it's worked. There are darker patches of blue. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. I can see them under this light. I don't know if you can on the camera, but yeah, it's worked. So I'll get to varnishing that, and then we'll do the top side. Right, Humbrol 93 main coat. Right, applying a thinned top coat. So the top coat has dried, and yeah, I can definitely see the darker colour underneath. What I did with the first coat, I'll take a photo and then yeah, we'll see how it looks like, but I think that looks alright. Cool. It's all dried, giving it a gloss varnish, and the Mottling's come through rather nicely. So now I'm going to do the top coat 29, which seems a bit silly. But never mind, I'm going to wind that right in and then work my paint in very, very slowly. There we go, so let's start the camouflage. What am I doing? Well, the Mottling's gone very well, top and bottom, quite impressed with that. I must admit, it's very good. Let's switch it over the other side. I've got a little tiny bit of paint bleed there, I can cure that later, that's no problem. But yeah, on the whole, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I can definitely see it with my eyes, and it's yeah, it's come up really well. So, time for decals. So it's already a gloss varnish in preparation. So I'm using a pair of skizzers, as my dear departed mum would call them. I'll do the wings first, and then I'll work my way around the aircraft. So just to do one, I'm just going to cut it out without cutting it. What I try and do is remove as much of the paper around the decal as possible. And on these single seater fighters, that's usually quite a lot of paper actually. So, oh crikey, oops, and it all goes wrong. Then I'm not using a wax burner because the water's warm enough in this hot weather. It's currently 34 degrees in the shed, which is nice. Wow. I let that soak a bit, and then we get our trusty decal fix. And my decal brush, which I use only for decals and nothing else. I think I'll do this side. So according to the box art, it's got to go there, so we'll stick a little bit there. Let that soak a bit more. Then I use the back end of a scalpel just to trap the decal on the model and then pull the paper away. And then just position it with the box art where it's got to go, so that's roughly in line there by the looks of it. So it's just above that little square as on the box art, about there. So more decal fix. Just dab it on top and let that just soak for a couple of minutes, just to really soften that decal. Get it in the position I want it to get it in. It's about, I'm going to put it there. What I'll do is I'll use that as a reference for the other side then, to get them equal. There we go, just let it soak for a little while. Remove the excess around the decal because I just want to make sure that wing's as dry as possible, and then using my little metal triangle thingy, whatever it is, just roll it ever so slowly into position, and it's accepting those panel lines really well, which is really good news, and just roll it in like that. And that is how I fix decals. I've probably shown you before in previous videos, you've probably seen it all over YouTube, but that is how I do it. I find a decal fix is perfect for this job. I've not tried other brands, I just buy decal fix because of the Airfix points, to get me more models as and when I can buy them. Oh yeah, that's fixed on nicely. Now time for an oil wash. I've never done this before, so this should be interesting. I'm going to use Crawford & Black Burnt Umber. I've seen this used before in different videos, so I'm going to use this. I've got other colours, but I've sort of, if I use black, I think it'll stand out too much and won't be, it just ruin it. So I'm going to try this Burnt Umber because, well, the model's brown. Ooh, that's a bit gunky. There we go, little tiny bit like that. So I've got a little tiny bit like that. Looks like a little rat's had a bit of fun there. I've got some white spirit, which I've also seen is the stuff to use. So I'll put a little dribble in there, and then I'll see if that thins it down. Little bit of a learning curve there. A lot less white spirit. So I've made that now. So I think that's going to be alright. I hope this isn't going to be a complete disaster. So apparently, I've seen this on videos, never tried it myself. You take the brush and just... disappointing. Right, trying again. I really can't see any difference, to be honest. Maybe I should have used black. I can't see any difference. I'm really putting it on there as well. This just seems to be a complete waste of time. So I've added another colour to the burnt umber, which was burnt sienna. So we'll give that another go. Paint the whole wing just to get it in there, I suppose. I don't know what else to say, I just think this is a bit of a waste of time. Maybe it works for other people, but for me it just seems like, what's the point when there's already panel lines there? But get our small piece of tissue and just wipe it across the wing. When I look at the panel lines now, there is a difference. Yes, there is a difference there. Right, let's just give that another wipe down just to make sure. Okay, let's do it this side. Maybe I've got to let it sink in for a bit, I don't know. Ooh. I'm very pleased this isn't a 4-engine heavy I'm having a go at. Oh yes, I can start to see the panel lines now. I think they're coming through. But I don't know if I'm impressed or not with that. I don't think it's done a lot. Well, it has, yeah, I suppose it has. Yeah. Let it dry and see what we think. Well, the oil washer's had time to dry, and there is ever such a slight difference on the panel lines. I'm not sure if all that effort was worth it, though. Yeah, I think time will tell. The jury's out on that. I quite like the Mottling, but the oil staining I think I need to do a bit more practice with. But that's what this hobby's all about, isn't it? Practice. I mean, the tail planes come up quite nicely actually, and this wing here where the lighter brown is, yeah, it's come up. So I'm going to give this a coat of gloss varnish to bring the colours out, and then we'll see. Right, the varnish has dried, and it has sort of made the panel line stand out a bit, but no more than I thought they were in the first place, really. So the jury's still out on that one. I'll have to try that again on another model. I don't want to do it again in case I ruin what I've already done. So anyway, let's get the propeller on. So I'm going to get my fat nose tweezers. They might have a technical name, I don't know, but I call them fat nose tweezers. Like that. Get them ready. This is going to go ping. We all know it. We all know it's going to go ping. I'll end up gluing the propeller in as normal. A little. Oh. We all know it's. Oh! Yep, I think we're getting to the point where I'm going to glue this here as normal. I'll tell you what, let me fix this off camera and then we'll see where we go. Right, the prop's on. So let's get this top section on. Here goes nothing, just drop it straight into place. I hope it fits. And it doesn't. It goes. Let's get that bit of a squidge down. There we go, squeeze it into place. That's not too bad a fit actually, that's alright. That's on. Oh, let that go off. So all the bits are on the model. I've given it a coat of matte lacquer, which has really brought out all those lines and everything. It's excellent. So now I'm going to try and do a little bit of weathering stuff. So using a little bit of oil paint, Crawford and Black, which I haven't opened yet. Little tiny bit there, like on the tissue. And then just get this makeup brush, which I've seen on Steam Geyzeer use, and a few other modelers use. Just dab a bit on there, like that. Dry brush it off, and then where the guns are, oh that's good, I must admit I like that, and just put it on. Oh, that's very nice, I like that. A bit more paint, dry brush it off. There's something in this oil paint, like, you know. And just, yeah, tickle it on there, I suppose. If that's the word I can use, tickle. Yeah, quite like that. Just do the exhaust, give them a bit of a tickle with the old black. Like that. And do t'other side. Oh, cracky. Do that. Oh, I like that. That's a good effect. The weathering powders may now be redundant. Yeah, cool. So what I've got to do now is the underside, unmask the canopy, and it'll be time for the big reveal. Well, here we are, my first ever mottled and oil washed model. Quite pleased with it actually, it's alright. There was a few errors on it, but I mean, it's all about a learning curve, isn't it? Especially the oil wash. Might try it again, a couple of Spitfire models I've got left over. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did so, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I look forward to seeing you on the next edition. Cheers!